this morning. Hope everybody can hear me well. Today is Thursday, February 19th, and the year is 2026. How's everybody doing? Welcome in. Thanks for being here. Thanks for joining us this morning on a conversation. I know I've been away for a while, but I want to thank everybody for stopping in this morning, taking a moment to be a part of today's conversation. As always, guys, when you check in, make sure you check in down below. Let me know where you're checking in from, what time of day it is, where you are. OG, what's going on? Welcome in. Thank you for being here this morning, everyone. Today, we're going to be discussing awareness and how awareness goes along with attention and acting with intention. So, I want to do that this morning. And acting with. I want to thank everybody for being here. Give me a moment. Gotta get my audio playback right. There we go. That's better. So, awareness, guys. Hope everybody's doing okay. Hope everybody enjoyed their little Valentine's Day break. What else do we have? It's tax return season. I want to talk about that. Where are you at in your tax returns? How much have you gotten done? How is it impacting your future? What do you plan on doing with the money? Love to hear from you guys to share with me how that's going. I'm trying to get a poll up this morning. I haven't been on for a while. I've actually been focusing heavily on the investment side of the channel, developing more content and bringing together some account information. I'm studying for my SIE exam. And so okay. Thanks for being here. What do we got? I have to go out with. You're going out with your mates in the morning and you can't suggest anything to do. It's interesting. I don't know. Considering that you use the term mates, I'm going to take a wild guess that you're not here in the United States. I don't know, try something different. What have you and your mates been doing when you go out in the morning? Try something different from that. Thanks again, everyone, for being here this morning. As always, make sure when you check in, let me know where you're checking in from, what time of day it is, where you are. Share with me what you're thinking, where your focus is at today. It looks like, who is that? iMoney is focused on going out with his mates this morning. All right. So, again, thank you for being here, guys. I give everybody a few minutes to get in here. Remember, when you check in, please take opportunity to take a look at the survey. Let me know how you're feeling this morning, where you're checking in from. It's the afternoon, the day, evening. We are talking about awareness, guys. Focus. Where is your mind? Where are your thoughts? Where's your energy? Where are you focusing your time? Where are you focusing your dedication? Are we doing it intentionally? Or are things just happening to us and around us, and we just happen to just be there, right? So the first thing we have to understand, people, is that there's a difference between awareness and being aware. I want to explain this as very simply as I possibly can. Awareness is just the existence. It's just the part of us that people often call consciousness. And awareness is just knowing that there is an existence, that there is anything going on. Awareness lets us know that we can be aware that there's a difference between rain, a rainy day, and a sunny day. We can be aware that there is a difference, and there is the existence of cold and hot, of working and not working. Like, we can be aware of these different states and whether or not we're in these different states, how we're performing in that space, what's going on with us. All of these things are things that we can be a part of. They're all a part of awareness. I really needed to, that color was driving me insane. So we're going to go with something a little bit more. Let's see if that works. Maybe, all right. So awareness isn't the same as being aware, right? So we have to move from just being or living in a state of awareness to being aware. And the reason we have to be aware is because being aware requires our intention. It requires our attention. We have to pay attention in order to be aware. We live in a state of awareness, right? But if we're not paying attention to the specifics, if we're not shining a light in the right place, just because we can see the road doesn't mean we can see the way out. Just because we can see what's in front of us doesn't mean that we understand the direction that we should be going. That requires awareness. That's not just being, that requires being aware. That's not just awareness. That requires paying attention, because attention allows us to shine the light and to put our focus in the correct area. In the middle of, so the current work that I do requires for me to physically perform repairs on computers and other electronics. And so when I'm doing this work, I can be aware of everything that's inside of this device. Like, I can see everything that's inside of the thing that I'm repairing. But what we have to understand is there's a difference from being able to see everything you need to repair, and then paying attention to the thing you are repairing, right? So when we talk about our life and you talk about living your life, just being aware that your life is happening, but not paying attention as to what is happening, creates a setback, creates a loss. Attention to the thing that needs to be done, and it's really important when it comes to focusing on ourselves, when it comes to understanding and developing ourselves. If we're not paying attention to our own behaviors, if we're not paying attention to the things we say we're going to do, if we're not paying attention to the things that happen on a daily basis, we're not going to be able to appropriately track our own development and growth. And a lot of people make mistakes in this space, and this is something that I want to make sure we're addressing this morning is, are you focusing your attention in the right place? Because so many of us live just in chaos. We don't focus our attention anywhere. A lot of us suppress just the thought of paying attention to what's going on. I don't want to know. Like, I just don't want to be a part of any of it. I don't want to participate. I don't want to answer the questions. I don't want to ask the questions. I don't even want to contemplate that the questions even exist. I want everything to just be okay. And that's a place, that's a denial. That's a refusal to accept what's in front of you and what's happening is real. And so awareness makes all of these things visible to us. Attention is what allows for us to choose a path and act with intention. And so many of us avoid acting with intention. I don't want to, like, it's this, like, the ignorance and the denial that what's happening is happening and that you're a part of it and that you're responsible for your own actions and behaviors is what makes it difficult. So, for example, I'm working, the company that I work with, we have a schedule, and there are a number of us who are working at any given time. And so I'm working with another gentleman, and he's at the end of his schedule. It's time for him to go. And he's like, okay, well, I guess I got to stay here and I got to finish this. No, your time is done. You're aware that your time is done. It's no hard feelings. It's no personal feelings to get to the end of your day and say, I'm going home, right? And here's the thing. When you become aware, right? When the awareness allows for you to focus the attention on the fact that my day is done and I've done the work that I was capable of doing within the time frame that was required, it's time for me to go, right? You have to understand that's because you are performing a job, you're performing duties, exchanging your time for someone else's money. When we focus on the saying that says, work harder on yourself than you do on your job, we can come to the realization that being done and going home is not a bad thing. Coming to the end of your day and understanding that your time of exchanging your time for someone else's money is not a bad thing. Allows for you to simply say, okay, I'm done, I'm going home. I'm not mad at you. I don't have any problems with you. I don't have any concerns. I'm not upset with you. It's just my time is done. Now it's my time for me and my time. So how does this end up impacting so many of us in the wrong way? It ends up impacting us in the wrong way because we don't have an understanding that this simple development and growth within ourselves is going to require for us to pay attention to what we do. It's so easy to say, oh, I didn't have enough time to go do this because I had to stay late on my job. No, you didn't. You stayed late on your job, but you didn't have to, right? Like that was a decision. And I'm not saying don't stay late on your job. I'm saying just don't blame your employer for the fact that you did stay late on your job. Right? Don't turn your life over to someone else's decisions that you allowed to be your focus. and then say, oh, I couldn't get anything done because I had to be on my job. You didn't have to be on your job, but you were. Why is this important? Because when you become aware and you pay attention to your actions and you take ownership of them, then you can act with intention. I'm not doing this. It's no longer about, oh, well, the situation was specifically, forget that. You decided to do something. You saw what was in front of you. You were aware of it. And then from that point of understanding and being aware, you made a decision. And then when you decided to put the responsibility of that decision and the outcome of that decision on someone else, it's you giving up ownership of your own life. If you give up ownership of your life, if you give up ownership of your decision making, if you give up ownership of your path, then you're not living with intention. You're just there. Here's the thing. It takes responsibility to take on ownership. It takes responsibility for you to own and accept who you are, to maintain focus. And the reason that's important is because when you allow for other people's behaviors, actions, words, thoughts, and feelings to supersede your own, then you put yourself in the back seat. Thank you very much for stopping in this morning, people, for being a part. Thank you for sharing in the comments. I appreciate you being here. Remember, as always, guys, when you check in, let me know where you're checking in from, what time of day it is where you are. As you check in, again, let me know what time of day it is where you are, wherever it is you're checking in from. It's a pleasure to have you here. Again, it is now 5:58 in the morning here on the East Coast of the United States. This morning, we're talking about awareness. We're talking about how awareness breeds attention and how attention breeds acting with intention. And just this morning, I want us to focus on the fact that awareness is constant. Awareness is not something that you have any ability to make exist or go away. Awareness just is, right? Like like your senses, any of the senses that you have that connect you to the world around you simply gives you the ability to be aware. Those things are awareness, right? It's not that you have a focus on any of those things. Awareness just is. When you learn, like as a child, for those of us who are able-bodied, you touch things, you smell, you taste, you hear, you see. All of that is a part of awareness. And awareness is simply being there in that moment. Good morning. Thank you for being in. Drop it in. As always, guys, make sure when you check in, let me know where you're checking in from, what time of day it is where you are. And so awareness is around us. Awareness is not you. Awareness is the existence of what is around us, and we cannot avoid awareness, right? It is different from being aware. It's different from paying attention, right? So just being in the midst of everything does not mean that you are engaged, involved, or paying attention. And so those things are going to be important. So how do we move forward when we get to a point where we say, okay, well, I am becoming, I want to be aware. I want to go from just having awareness to being aware, because as we watch children develop awareness before they develop the ability to be aware, right? That's that ability to be able to focus, to be able to understand that not only are things out there, but the things that are out there respond to what we do, right? That's when awareness starts to come in. When we start to figure out, hey, I can do and say and behave like I can make changes to my environment. I can engage with my environment. I can be a part of my environment. Those bring about changes. Those bring about a different understanding. And that's where the awareness allows for us to begin to become aware, to pay attention. And then paying attention allows for us to act with intention. We have to figure out how to do that. All right, so what do you think about Jesus in the financial environment? I'm not sure what that question means, but we do have a question in the chat that's asking about Jesus in the financial environment. I don't know what you mean by that. Um, I, I understand what you're saying about Jesus. I understand that there's a financial environment, but I don't understand what your question is trying to ask, and what do I think about Jesus in the financial environment. I'm gonna need more clarity. If anybody else has a better understanding of what's being said, or can rephrase that question in a way that'll allow for me to be able to develop an answer, I'm more than happy to answer it. But right now, it seems a bit vague in nature, and I can't really offer a direct response. So, what I'm going to continue to do is make sure we're sharing about awareness and being aware. Um, what's your name? Is that Mir? Is that Miriam? Miriam? So, if you could kind of give me a better idea of what that question is supposed to be, I'll try to make sure I can get an answer for you. And so, the thing that's going to be important is for us to understand when we talk about being able to, um, when we talk about being able to engage in our own life and become the focus of our own life, the focus of our behaviors, our intention, and our growth, we can make changes. I'm going to try to fix this camera. This camera is crooked. It's driving me crazy. So, so that awareness and that attention makes changes to, to how we can impact the environment around us. And just being aware, as I've said before, just the existence of awareness does not give us that. You can see everything. You can hear and feel. Excuse me. You can be in the midst, but that doesn't mean that you're being aware. There was I recently watched this documentary about a concert at Houston. I believe it. I can't remember the artist's name, but it was called Astro World. Um, and if anybody can remembers the artist's name, please list it below. I always have difficulty in remembering all of the artist's name. But it's the young rapper from Houston. He's having this huge concert, and they're scheduling this thing, and it's happened a few times. And there's this thing about what I'm talking about with awareness, where the people responsible for scheduling the event had a expectation. And again, I can't remember the artist's name. Young rapper down in Houston. Guys, please help me figure out what the name of this artist is. If you guys could share with me and help me get a better understanding of who this artist is, I would like to share this story about how the events that happened were events of a lack of attention, not a lack of awareness. Okay, this is important because the belief that something happens in a way because we're not aware isn't the same as something has happened in a certain way because we didn't pay attention, right? And so, man, for the life of me, I cannot think of this guy's name. Uh, what did, at any rate, he's having this concert, and it ends up end of the story is what makes the rest of it become important. People died because there was not enough space, right? There was not enough space given for the number of people who were going to be there. So people lost their lives, like they were trampled, like people were smothered and trampled to death. And so it's not because there was there was no awareness, right? The artist is on stage, he can hear the crowd, he's performing, he can he can he can feel the energy, he can see the lights, he can like he's really into his performance. An awareness of the different people in the different spaces are starting to have a different experience. And the venue, the issues that led to so many people losing their lives happened over a period of time. And as these things started to happen, more and more people began to have a different type of uh, uh, understanding in the moment. And their attention switched from repeating the lyrics and calling back out. It switched from that to all of a sudden, how am I going to live? Am I going to survive? Their attention changed, and then their behaviors changed. So being aware, right? So the awareness of the environment, of the temperature, the feeling, the energy, the expectation from different places, they were different. Not everyone was having the same experience, even though they were a part of the same group awareness. Good morning. How are you doing? My sound is fine. Stop playing games. So I'm monitoring my sound anyway. So, so what does this let us know? What is this telling us? Well, at that moment, where your focus is, right, where your attention is what's going to drive your next steps, your next behaviors. And when I say the end of this is important, it's because people lost their life. However, when people started to lose their life, the next thing that had to be considered was, well, what do we do next? What do we do in regards to, let me fix my chat. I think I'm doing my chat as only the top. Let me switch to my live chat. Um, uh, that says, what do you think about Jews in the financial environment? I thought it says Jesus. My bad. I need new glasses. This is from Edwin. I guess he was. Someone else asked the question, Jews do run both legal and financial institutions and all. Um, and then Edwin keeps saying that my sound's low. Edwin, you gotta fix your mic. I'm monitoring my sound, Edwin. I have monitors, like I'm monitoring my sound in the headphones, and my sound is absolutely fine at like less than 50% volume. So check your speakers, Edwin, or your headphones. So the thing that happened in this situation was because even the event coming up to um, coming up, even all the things that led up to the event before it started were all in the same way. They all considered, they all looked at the possibility that this may happen. So there was awareness, but there was no intention. And because there was no intention, there was no action taken with intention. And because they failed to act with intention, the outcomes that resulted was the loss of life. And the blame was placed on others. The the individual performing a concert. Hello. The individual performing the concert was blamed for what was happening, was blamed for not being prepared. Like there was an entirely different group of people responsible for making sure that the event was safe. Noah, how you doing this morning, Noah? Um, in what regards, like international securities? There's some recently with my portfolio, I have been making some investments into ETFs that are international, but it's good to have uh, international exposure on a diversified uh, portfolio, simply because is being diversified as much as possible allows for your return and your investments to not be overwhelmed if one sector or another has any challenges. There's still going to be areas of growth. So yes, I do have some investments in international ETFs. To be more, I'm not going to go into a lot of specifics, but yes, I do. And good morning. How are you doing? Good to see you in this morning, Noah. I'm glad you're here. Um, and so, when we talk about being intentional, when we talk about acting with intention, when we talk about paying attention, and how this leads to us being able to grow, leads to us being able to take control of our own outcomes, our own behaviors, our own arrival at um, our desired uh, location or our desired um, destination. It is going to always require, I mean, it's going to absolutely 100% always require that we are paying attention and we are acting with intention. Uh, so, so yes, so it is important to make sure that we're paying attention, guys, that um, we are being intentional with our actions from doing so. Um, I don't understand who's got a problem with the Jews. I think that's a question that gets you nowhere. Um, but this is part of being able to pay attention, and I do. You know, I'm not just aware of what's happening, but I pay attention to what's happening, and I understand people's views and thoughts and feelings quite often override uh, strong uh, behaviors, and that doing so can can be difficult for a lot of people. So own your life, own yourself. It is 6:15, people. It's going on 6:16. 6:16 is my wife's birthday. June is 6:16. So whether it is 6:16 in the morning or 6:16 in the evening, June 16th is my wife's birthday, and so I want to take the time to say happy birthday to my wife and our lover. It's 6:15 in the morning, approaching 6:16. Also, make sure you stop past and visit my wife's channel. It's our family channel. It's called The Baby Birds. the bird crew. It's a great place to just kind of see how our life plays out in real time. Some of the things we do, how we engage and interact with our children. So if you haven't had an opportunity, please stop past, take a look at that channel. But while you're here, I want you to make sure that you're understanding that awareness, right, is always around us. Being aware, paying attention, is where you focus the light. And if your focus on your light is on other people's actions and other people's world and what they could have done better or what they could do different, there is so little that you are going to be in control of. It is when you start to understand that your behaviors, your actions, and your understanding are what are the things that are going to drive your life. So you have to pay attention so that you can act with intention. Can't find the baby bird or the bird crew. Let me see if I can get you a link for that real quick. Give me a moment. It's just baby birds. I'm going to see if I can grab the channel link and share it with you. It should be this, so give me a moment. I'm going to try to get the link, guys, and drop it in there so that you can see exactly where to go. That's the link right there. I'm going to pin this at the top of the chat. That is the link to get to the baby birds. It's our family channel. You'll see my wife and my children. It is where you get to see more into our life, more into how we live on a day-to-day basis, how we engage, how we share our love, how we're committed to ourselves and our growth. Thank you guys for taking the time to stop in and become a part of that journey and a part of that team. Got it. Thank you very much, Noah. Thank you for that. And so, again, when we talk about the awareness that we have to have and how we can act with intention, right? How we can pay attention and act with intention, it is going to be a driver. It's going to be a catalyst. It's going to be an identifier for who we say we want to be and where we say we want to go. And this isn't just about being able to have someone else's life or someone else's decisions be the determining factor of our behaviors, the determining factor of our life and our outcome. We have to pay attention. And then once we pay attention, we start to see the areas where we are in complete control. And so thank you so much for being here, guys. Also, for those of you who are new to the channel, my name is Oloropo. This is B&V Finance Fixers. We talk about discipline. We talk about understanding. We talk about being aware and accountable for our own behaviors. And I want to thank those of you who are here for participating and being a part of the process. Thank you so much for all the things you've done and all the ways that you continue to support the channel on a regular basis. So, as I was saying before, everyone, attention is going to lead to acting with intention. So today I'm going to ask for you to become intentional. Pay attention to where you are, what's going on in your life, and become intentional about the behaviors. Become intentional about the things that you do and how you act, the steps that you're taking. Stop allowing for life to pass you by. Stop shifting blame, responsibility, and actions onto others, and take ownership of it for yourself. That is going to be a major, major place of growth and development within an individual's life. Okay, and you have that opportunity now. So I'm going to encourage you to take advantage of it, to be a part of it. As I said before, my name is Oloropo. I'm thanking you guys for being here this morning. Don't allow for this day to pass you by without you being a part of it. Go past the go past just having awareness and start to become aware. Start to pay attention. And then when you pay attention, make a decision and behave and act with intention. Doing so gives you control, it gives you power, and it has a sure return on your life. So guys, thank you for being here this morning. As always, remember, I want you to keep showing up, keep growing up, and keep blowing up. And until next time, guys, you take care and God bless.